What is up, everyone, and welcome to the semifinals of the Mario Kart Professional Series Spring Split. I am your caster, Nick, today, and I'll be joined with Jaggy.
What's up, everybody?
Today we have a match versus the 1-seed Charge Brigade versus Avail, the 5-seed, to determine who will be going on to the finals of the Spring Split. Alright, now let's take a look at the lineups for each team.
Alright, real quick before we get into that, I'm actually really excited for this match. Not only because I think it's going to be close, but it's two teams that I shouldn't say are undergoing Cinderella stories, but these are two teams that weren't predicted by many people to even make the final, either one of these teams. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here and then which team does well in the final. But as for this match, in terms of the lineups, we got Derek, Trix, Yoster, Zero, Prue for Charge Brigade, Kevin, Olifrey, Sean, Vincent, and Joris for Avail. And in this instance, both teams are throwing out their best lineups here.
Yep, I would agree with that. I mean, pretty much business as usual. No one's gonna be trying to give other players time in a match this important.
Yeah, and in previous casts for Charge Brigade, I did mention that Zero. Okay, so Zero's been up and down. He's been slagging some matches. He's been running some matches. In this case, I'm not going to say for sure what he's going to do because he's like that all-around player. You can do whatever. But expect Trix to be running as usual. He's going to be their main frontal presence there. Yoster is up and down as well, but for the most part, Yoster has been mainly playing a slagging role as of late. And Zero has actually been doing a really good job up there. I do think he is one of the more improved players over the past year. So expect Zero to actually get up there a bit more. And Derek actually has already de-rusted at this point, so he's been playing pretty well as of late as well.
Yeah, Derek's a beast. I know they're confident above all else. They absolutely are a very strong side going into this one. Zero, if you pay attention to any scrim war, Zero does not score necessarily like super high. Like, he's obviously a great player, but for whatever reason he can't get up there in the points. But for whatever reason, ever since like a year and a half ago, I noticed this when I joined CB, but like Zero in every single important playoffs match, elimination match, always scores above 120. It just always happens. So he's just as ice in his veins, and I could tell he's going to clutch up for the boys today. And either way, it's going to be an exciting match. These lineups are pretty even.
Yeah.
Trix is disgusting. Derek's getting back to form, and he's also great. Yoster just kind of nails the hype in the call, the slagging role, and he can even be a really effective runner when he comes down to it. I like CB's side a lot.
And for sure, that's one of the most important factors too in this game is just having that ice in your veins type of thing, because you can be really good at this game, but if you don't have that mentality, if you don't have that Mamba mentality, so to speak, it's actually hard to make strides in this game, because eventually when you play tournaments, you're gonna be playing the top teams and it's gonna be grindy, and especially with the casting, like since it's becoming popular now, it's going to be a lot more high profile. So the teams that can weather that storm of nerves and whatnot usually end up on top. We haven't talked about Avail yet, though. We talked about Charge Brigade and how strong they can be. But Avail, if we're going to be talking about ice in our veins, Avail are one of those teams for sure. Olifrey especially. I don't think anything affects this man. Okay, so Olifrey, we are going to be casting him. In the last match, we saw him mainly in top 2 or bottom 2 spots, mainly running or bagging for dodges. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does in this match in particular. Last time out when they played against Metro Wipeout, I'm not going to say they struggled, but Metro Wipeout were getting slightly the better of the exchanges. But Avail poured it on in the later half of the war, mainly because Olifrey started to enhance a little bit more of that tertiary running role alongside Kevin and Vincent mostly, and Sean was doing a lot of the dirty work in the pack. So I do think if Avail are going to be successful today, we're going to need to see Olifrey up in the front at times, and I do think he's capable of that.
I absolutely agree with everything you just said. Olifrey is a beast. He doesn't get phased by anything. That man will get blued, comboed, shocked off, pushed off by his teammates, and then still drop a smiley face in the chat and say good games. So he's just one of those people who just doesn't get phased.
Good spirited.
Absolutely. I think I've been playing Avail like last year with SY. We used to scrim them last summer like almost all the time, and they had a lineup similar to this. They didn't have Kevin yet, but Olifrey, Sean, Vincent, and they were really good. They were one of the only teams that could they were one of the only teams that were really, really fun to war consistently. They were active, and they would always give us a great match. And they were just missing like that one piece or that one thing that would get them back in there, maybe. Like they never had like a really great fourth. And the addition of Kevin, I think, has just been so huge for them.
Absolutely, yeah. And chem-wise, they're very solid, but they have come up short in the past in Division 1 for WL and other seasons that they played in, because they lacked, like you said, that fourth player. But this lineup right here is actually very solid among all four runners. Like any one of those four can get up there. I can see any one of those four getting up there easy.
Sean and Vincent, prolific TTers. Kevin is God, just great lounge player, really naturally talented. Olafray, been playing wars for God knows how long, super good TTer. Just all of these guys are scary, and the fact that I feel like they all kind of main different areas, except maybe Olafray. But like now that they're playing a ton of wars again, they're really getting back into it, and that is a really scary lineup, especially knowing what I know about some of these players. I know all of these guys are team first, very unselfish. All of Sean's previous teammates always talk about how good of a teammate he was, how strong of a war player he was, and how he's not just a TTer. This is just a great side coming out from Avail. And then you got Joris bagging, who Joris had not even heard of him until like a year ago, but he joined AV and he grinded and just like really grinded out bagging, went from a complete nobody that AV took a chance on to just a really good bagger, really solid, just will get the job done. And I'm glad to see him in this match. He's come a long way, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And Joris, actually, Avail as a whole, they have taken a couple of chances with baggers over the years. They haven't really had like this really solid bagger. And well, besides Klein, obviously, Klein joined about, I don't know how long ago, a few months ago, somewhere around that.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been playing as of late. But having that backup in Joris, who's actually a decent bagger himself, yeah, AV finally have bagging solidity with the addition of Klein and Joris, but Joris being thrown under the spotlight in rounds 3 and 4, and he's going up against Prove though. Prove has proven himself to be a decent bagger as of late as well. But who do you think are going to win out? Who do you think is going to win out here in the bagging battle?
Bagging battle, I think it's going to be pretty even. I can't see either one of them destroying. Prove has really impressed me with how much he's come, or how far he's come as a bagger. He's very level-headed in the call, which is not something you see for someone who played on the teams he did, as for someone his age, to put it frankly. He's just pretty mature, which is good to see. And Joris he usually just gets shocks. He never gets like blanked from what I've played with him, but. I got to give the edge to Prove. I think Prove's probably going to bring home more shocks, but it's bagging, so
he is known to be a cheeser. He is known to be a cheeser. So we got to make that point. Let's get into, okay, they're starting real quick though. Let's get into predictions and MVP. So who do you got, Nick, for predictions?
I think CB takes the series 2-1, but
okay.
I think CB takes the series 2-1, and I think Trix MVPs.
Okay, all right. Yes, Trix MVP is not a bad pick, to be honest, because he's usually up there, and he's a very fundamentally based player. He has all the fundamentals down. One, I don't know if he's that much of a shortcut taker, but in terms of pure driving, he's definitely up there.
God knows he still can't do the MG gap jump, but he is as fast as a player, as fast as they come, pretty much. But I will say AV's lineup probably does have more talent, but CB's been playing together so long. They're playing so well. I don't know. This could AV could 2-0, CB could 2-0. I hope it goes 2-1. I think it will. These teams are really close, and I just think
go anyway. And real quick, I'm gonna go AV 2-1 though, just because they have been very solid chem wise as well, and they've just been proving themselves. They've been proving the doubters wrong, especially against MW. And I'm going to say still Trix MVP here though, but AV 2-1. And here we go. MT starting off with CB hosting. Third can hop and cut.
Yep, just classic 1-3 pick for obvious reasons. Third hops and cut, gets a bottom spot box and a top spot, and first just runs and tries to backspam the hell out of the other team. Either way, he gets triple shrooms. It's a pretty good pull, and he's smartly going to use his shrooms to try and get up there. Unfortunately, gets redded. It's surprisingly hard to break reds there.
The unfortunate reality of pulling triple shrooms there. We are going to see Trix still in first, though. He's able to lock it down. I think this is one of his strongest running tracks. I think top 5 running from what I've seen from him recently. and I think Zero's in second too.
Yeah,
so.
MT is his favorite track, and he has like I think top 3 worldwide shroom list. He's discussing at this track, so he's probably not going to be failing, and he's honestly probably going to be extending that lead unless there's a shock or a blue or something.
Yeah, and then early top 3-5 here. I'm going to pay attention to the bagging battle. Both baggers made it back, so there may be a cheese factor here because one of them actually no, the Daisy hasn't made it back yet, but still, yeah, both are back now.
Not the best start for AV, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like the items are necessarily going their way. They're probably gonna need a shock or something to get back into this. That's just sometimes how it goes, especially on these tracks where for the first couple of sets are really so important, and it's hard to kind of change how the pack is structured throughout the course of the race unless you get shock or blue. And that's
shock lined up a little bit. Yeah.
Just an unfortunate bump off from your teammate. It happens, especially since Olafray's EU, Sean's America, but yeah, now Olafray's going to lose this star and be pretty far in last place.
And still a break for top 2 CB. I think third is still in the hand of AV. I think Yasher may be fourth, though. Top 2-4, worst case here for CB with a bit of a break. That top 4 break is breaking away a little bit. As for the bagging battle, it looks to me like... actually, I don't know. Do you know who has it here? Okay, there it is.
Yeah. So that's definitely an AV shock. CB's not going to use shock there, and if so, they're going to dodge their top 2. Olafray dodges. I think they got one person in cannon, so maybe it'll be able to get them back into this race. But yeah, they really needed that. So clutch one coming out from Joris.
Still a top 2 for CB though, from the looks of it. I don't think anybody dodged outside of the cannon. So
yeah, but that blue is going to be killer. I bet one of the people who dodged might be able to combo him or take over first. So looking like a good lap 3 for AV. I mean, they got all the items they needed now.
Trick still got first though, and he's slowing down for Zero. So yeah, it's still a good race for CB actually. I
don't idea where that blue went, or if Trix was just gone in first. Maybe I just completely lost it.
Dodged the blue, I believe. I don't know how. I would have to look back at his stream. I don't know how they did that, but it was just the items early on, the triple reds, and Olafray got destroyed, and CB actually ran that pretty well. I think Yasher might have gotten a couple of back spams too, because he was occupying third and fourth for the majority of the race.
Yeah, sometimes you can get shrooms in first because of if like more than 15 items are on the ground or something, which can happen due to leaf piles on Maple Treeway, you can just pull a shroom in first. Honestly, it happens a lot after shock, after cannon there. So, hey, I mean, if you're CB, that's a perfect start.
Yeah, and can't confirm it was a ground shroom that was used to dodge the blue. Trix, he hit the leaf pile and he slowed down heavily just to hit that shroom just in time. So,
good for him. Cool,
very
calm,
fortunate.
Cool and collected.
Yeah, very fortunate that the shroom popped up there, but it was a good reaction from Trix just to slam on the brakes and time that blue dodge properly.
Yeah, Trix is a beast. But honestly, if you're CB, you are in a great headspace right now. They got blue, they got shock, and you still got top 3-7. You're up by 21, and AV had everything they could go right. I mean, CB definitely had the luck of the draw with the items early on, but if you can survive a shock and a blue and still get a great race, then that's a perfect race in your
Why
book.
are we see a lot of 41-20s after the race one. It's been the past 3 wars. AV versus MW actually was 40-21, I believe. And let's see. Yeah, the last war, KG versus I forgot. KG versus Ethereal. So let's see. Yeah, they do opt to go with GCNMC though, AV, and that's actually a CB track pick whenever they are in bottom spot. So if they can get a good race here, it can nullify a potential track pick for them.
Absolutely. And they get it, which is good. You really don't want like the track picks to pile on this early when the other team is already top 3. That's just such a momentum gut bust.
Yeah. It tracks like this though. Yeah, I would like to piggyback off Elekid in the chat. Ballin, this is where they miss out on Ballin though. Ballin is usually the one that makes the plays at times. So yeah, in tracks like this, I do think they're missing out on someone like Ballin.
Unfortunate pull of triple greens. That's one of those things. I mean, this race would be completely different for Olafray if he would have pulled triple shrooms there. He would have been up there with 2 shrooms, but now he's got to deal with the pack back here and be in 5th, which is probably not really where you want to be. But looks like the pack is already super spread out.
Vincent, I believe, got back spammed in 2nd, and Trix comboed him with a snipe.
Yeah, good play by Zero to keep him off, but CB in a pretty gold spot. Probably a POW from AV coming in to try and target battle. Almost gets bombed by Trix there. The item box kind of hid that.
fairly close there.
That would have been
It looks to
unfortunate.
me like the Daisy's winning out. That's proved, correct?
Yeah, but I think Proof's winning the bagging battle, but this is a great spot for CB to be in. It is very hard for anyone to catch that top 3 on this track because all Olafray can do right now is hold this shroom to cut. No one else is really going to be getting that far up there. They're in a really good spot right now to be able to hold on to these spots, especially if Trix has a shroom.
Prove has shot confirmed. He ran away from Joris, and yeah, he has that break already, so he's not going to... Yeah, Joris is not going to catch him. Mega for Vincent, though.
Ooh, great back green. That honestly was right in the middle of his line and was kind of difficult to react to without losing a lot of time. So
this is actually really bad for CB. AV. CB occupied a lot of the top spots and a dodge coming in late, too. Getting AV out of all their dodges after they use them. So this is going to be very, very good for CB here. Only Vincent up there, Vincent up there in second for AV.
Good disciplined call from CB, making sure to not dodge anyone and ruin a perfectly good race. They were able to get Derek into boxes, and he probably got a great spot. And
but Yoshter got last though, and CB got 4-5. So actually, really? I'm not sure what might have happened there.
And I was gonna like that. That is a good shock, but that's the risk you come from shocking. You'll see a lot of these top teams not shock until their top spots are like over the line. Like there is no way that they can get any spot other than first, because using this shock, just so many different things can happen. Like because all the items are reset.
We might have seen a blue coming in after the shock. That's the only reason why I think AV might have caught up there.
Vincent could have gotten a red. There's a lot of things that can happen with a shock like that. That's why you'll see a lot of teams just, like I said, not use it until the very end, honestly, because they can pull blue, they can pull triple reds, triple shrooms, especially if you're top spots and you're getting them into an item set. So many things can go wrong. It's a risk reward play.
Yeah,
if they were, we don't know obviously if they were top spots because we can't really see. We don't really know what happened, but if they were top spots, it might have been a smarter decision to hold it there until your top spot's finished, and then just get Derek as he. Give Derek some extra spots.
For sure. Now that now that AV pulled it back though, they are occupying 1-3, I believe 5th as well. I actually don't know what AV may pick here, but DDR coming out. Yeah, DDR coming out there for AV. Not a bad track in this case. I think 5th could drop, or whoever their third highest most spot is.
Yeah, absolutely.
MG though. All right, this can go anyway. Whoever pulls the shrooms in lap 1 essentially is just going to break away. So CB starting off in 2-4-5 and MG. It'll be interesting to see what Trix does. I think he could maybe drop for the shrooms. As for AV, it's pretty set in stone. 1-3 can run and the bottommost spots can go for shrooms. Trix opts to run though.
Sorry, fix the low mic, but either way, Olafray's going to get triple shrooms off the start. Not a bad pull. Not a bad pull at all. Pretty much the start of MG doesn't really... Except did someone fall off?
It looked to me like it was, and I'm going to try to see who that was.
Just Kevin.
Look at the map. Yeah.
It was Kevin. That's kind of sucks. He's just going to be back there for a while. Basically, what that does is he's kind of going to occupy all the 8th place boxes. So if someone does fall further behind, they're going to have a less easy time catching up because 8th place is the only spot where you can reliably get power items.
Right. I think he should be able to catch up by lap 3, but even then, I think people are already holding some of the dodges. I know Trix is holding a star at the moment.
Olafray was able to hold on to his triple shrooms and get into the first, do the little 2 cuts. Some might say keep it shroom, but I think it's a smart play to just take the smaller mushroom cut and just break out a little bit of a lead in first. And you have a shroom. Pretty insured unless something weird happens like a shocker blue.
And I'm not sure who's in second right now, but we are going to see a 3-4 for CB.
Yeah, and Prove is destroying... Either he's destroying him or he's in 9th by a mile. I think he might be in 9th by a mile, but...
And it's not a bad idea to chain boxes in this case. If you're losing out in the bagging battle, just chain like maybe 3 or 4 boxes and hopefully you'll get it. But I don't think Prove has it yet.
Yeah, it looks like he's burning a golden. Olafray did use his shroom, so he's not going to be able to stop any blues, but I think that's a risk worth taking. And someone just fell off in 3rd. Not sure what happened. I'm not sure who that was, but someone just fell off on the mushroom.
Look at the minimap.
That's a brutal respawn.
Yeah, I'll look at the minimap in a second on Trix's POV to see who that was. And yep. Ooh, shock coming in here. Dodging Vincent in a bill, but also Trix in the back. I'm not exactly sure who shock that was, but top 2 regardless for AV there.
Yoshter gets redded. I have to imagine that was an AV shock. I feel like they wouldn't have held it, or if it was a CB shock, they would have tried to get Olafray off, maybe do some type of TS. Probably would have been a little bit more what's the word? I guess safe with who dodges. Looked like an AV shock to me, and
it was
Trix just happened to predict.
Yeah, and it was Derek, I believe, that fell off, the person that we were talking about in lap 3. So actually, that wasn't very good because he was essentially CB's only top spot there.
Yeah, Yoshter ended up getting redded at the end. He was up there, but I think this was a pretty good race for AV. Yeah, top 2, 4, 8. And a lot of mistakes, it looks like, coming out from the players in this one. I'm not sure if it's nerves or what, but usually you don't see with a match of this caliber, usually you don't see a bunch of players fall off.
Yeah, usually in the first few races, though, even the best of players can make mistakes like that. Expect both teams to just treat this as a sort of warm-up, but you don't really want to treat it as a warm-up. You want to get going right away, especially if you're CB. They are still winning, I think, but CB usually are a slow-starting team. Usually they're the ones that take the deficit after GP1. But if they can take the lead or keep the lead against AV after GP1, this will be solid for them. But when you make mistakes like that, it can come back to bite you in the end. Yeah,
absolutely. It's pretty close to tied. I think CB still has a slight lead, but well played race from AV, good call to shock. And honestly, it's just going to come. I hate to say it, but a lot of these suicide wars just comes down to who gets shock at the right times on the right tracks. It's just such a powerful item.
And Avail right away pulling the trigger on Rainbow Road. They're top 2-4, and that's one of their signature track picks. And I do like that AV have a couple of obscure tracks as their favorite tracks, because even though top teams usually will play well in those tracks, there are top teams, they'll do well, but they don't practice it as much. So if you have the edge there, it'll take you a long way. But EC3 comes in. Expect Olifre to block the cut here. Zero, I don't know if he's going to go for a glitch or if he's going to prevent AV from taking the glitch. The Ultra. But Trix right away coming up there, spamming the greens. Doesn't connect on Olifre, though.
2020 BC3 is always an interesting race because a lot of people know how to take Ultra consistently at this point. So it's pretty interesting to see how this goes. Trix spamming some greens. Trix unblocking cut. I'm not sure if that was intentional. Pretty sure it was, but he unblocked cut immediately. A Daisy. Oh, no, never mind. That's a bagger. But Yoshi is able to take cut.
Yeah, I believe he took that line intentionally because if he were to try to avoid it, he would have gone wide there. And Yosher did take cut right behind him, so it did benefit CB and also Derek too. So they are 2-3-4, I believe. Actually, no, it's 2-3 for CB only.
No, they're first.
Yeah.
They're not 2-3. I think Olifre's the only one up there right now for
I was looking
AV.
at someone else's POV.
Either way, I think Yoshter, he took cut mid spot, might have multiple shrooms. If he does, then he's gonna probably have a guaranteed first if he makes his cut up here. He didn't have any more shrooms. Interesting. He only had one. He does get a perfect block with a fib, though, so Olifre can't take it.
It'll be interesting to see if one of AV try to unblock it here, and it looks to me like Trix did.
Yeah.
And oof.
Early shot coming in. I've got to imagine that was AV's.
Yeah, they didn't want to have CB take the cut there, because Trix did unblock it.
Yeah, but unless proven is a lap behind, he's in a really good spot to get a second shock. I didn't think that AV were in such bad spots to call such an early shock. You usually only call an early shock if something's going really bad for you.
Oh, slowing down battle here, but in the end, Kevin was proactive there. He stopped right as Yosher did. I mean, Yosher was kind of far away, so I do think that stopping there was a little risky.
I don't know why Yosher stopped there. Like, with players this good, they're gonna notice you're stopping. They know the blue is thrown. They threw it. Like, they're gonna.
Oh, Kevin failed though.
What is going on?
What?
Yeah, I'm not sure why Yosher stopped for the blue, given that he was so far ahead, and I'm not sure how Kevin hit the thwomp. I mean, I guess it happened.
He went tight, thinking that he could pass that thwomp, but it just came right down on him there.
It does happen. Not really the type of thing you want to risk, but doesn't look like it's going to be punishing them too much as AV gets to take cut. And it looks, honestly, they're holding on to top 3. One of CB failed Ultra back there. I think it was 0, and
wow. Yeah, 0 usually gets first or 8th in this track. And there is Trix coming up, but it's not going to be enough to break the plane. He was goldening, but
he did save the top 3. I think he was able to hit someone, so that was pretty good. So he at least softened the blow a little bit of damage control. But that was a weird race.
Indeed. Yeah, AV I think pulled both of those shocks if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think so.
The first shock was to prevent CB from taking cut after Trix unblocked it, and then the second shock, I would have to assume that was an AV shock as well, dodging Vincent, I believe, or someone else from AV. Solid race for AV, though, no matter what. Yeah, a bit of a misplay from Yastra though, but
yeah,
it happens.
and they end up getting a great race out of it. I don't think Yastra should have stopped, but it's probably insignificant because AV ended up getting 2 shocks. Super hard to beat.
And I was gonna say something, but I forgot. But AV, yeah, pulling their weight after suffering a couple of rough races in the first 2 races there. So
really shaky GP1 from both teams. I think we'll see the play start to smooth out a little bit. We have a lot of Mario Kart to be played today, especially if this goes to 3 matches.
Oh yeah,
One
we
GP is
may be here
very
for
little.
We may be here for a while, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned, stay in your seats. You know, we'll grab your popcorn. Actually, grab like maybe 3 tubs of popcorn. We'll be here for a while.
I just think he shouldn't have stopped. It was a decent play. It was a little bit more 50-50 than I'm making it out to be. I'm kind of being hard on Yastra right now, but if you have that big of a lead, AV's gonna stop too. Like they're not gonna not stop there, and I just think Yastra ends up being way too far back. Yeah. After that, I just think it's not worth it, really. Frankly,
I'd say maybe just try to slow down and try to catch the person in second with the blue rather than try to have second overtake first, because he did have a bit of a break, like I said before, in first. So enough time for Kevin to stop there, and he did.
But that's what he was trying to do, or maybe he was trying to just keep the pack a little bit closer, make everyone kind of halt for a while. Either way, bold play probably didn't matter in the long run because AV ended up getting both shocks, but. Interesting to see. I mean, that's how a lap 2 shock. I mean, they get shit on a lot, but lap 2 shocks are not bad for just a variety of reasons. And in that case, they made a good call, called the shock. We're able to. I think CB was actually kind of top spots going into lap 1, lap 2, but they ended up using the early shock, which even though it was a little bit risky because the baggers were right next to each other, it paid off pretty well.
RBC though coming out with the alternating spots to favor either team here. Let's see who gets the favorable drafts in this scenario here.
Yeah, the beginning of RBC is always one of my favorite war things to watch because it's such a display of skill and it means so much to the rest of the race. You just got to not die, no matter what you can. Just don't hit anything.
It was good work from Trix in the beginning few seconds just to swerve and prevent Olifray from getting the draft and still keeping his first there. So let's see. We might see some double backs here from CB. We might see like a back Nana. Oh, Olifray hitting the wall there. That's not good actually because CB are actually starting to break away a little bit more now that happened, but we may see some double back spams from CB here. A lot of blind corners, you're able to utilize that a lot.
Yeah, and getting hit at all on BC64, especially first lap, is killer. It is very difficult to catch up on this track if you're not dodging a shock, and you have to worry about back spam lap 2 and 3 as well. And
this is also one of Proof's best bagging tracks as well. Usually he gets the better of whoever he's going up against in this track. It seems like he doesn't fall off with Bill. He lagged there, so. Favored to get the shock here. Olifray with the star in 7th, though. If Proof gets the shock, though, best case or worst case scenario, he's just going to have to chain like a grass to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, we'll know who has it up here. I think holding the star is still smart just in case you get shocked because that's probably going to be your best way of getting back into the race at this point. Interesting play to stop Troll Derek there and use your star. Not really sure if that's worth it, but
it could work because AVR... CBR still winning on the backing battle. Not as much anymore, though. It looks to me like Jorth failed, though. Jorth failed the backwards strat going back in the very first turn of the backwards part.
Yeah, Proof is going to break out in 10th. CB still holding a top 3 lead, which they should maintain unless they pull a TC or get blued or something, but they're going to be able to back spam triple shrooms, which will definitely keep them closer to the pack, and I think Zero might have hit something or failed a little bit.
Yes, it seemed to me like he did there. It's going to be all on Olifray here to maybe get a sniper too. Shot comes in to cancel the blue there on Trix, which can work, but nobody dodges outside, I don't think.
No, Derek dodged in 8th, but that was about it. And now all of a sudden, this is a razor-tight pack. You just take 1 triple shrooms in 4th, blue from AV, fail from 0, or whatever he did, and now anyone can win this race.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Derek was forced to use the star there or whatever dodge he had, but I assume they just called the blue cancel there.
Yeah, cheeky snipe and backspam attempts coming out from both players. Meaning Derek, whatever he dodged with or whatever he chained after the dodge, he doesn't have anymore.
Oh.
Kevin shrooms Olifray into the wall, but he does a good job staying alive, keep himself in the race for a little bit. Unfortunate with the team.
So close. This is going to be a really chaotic ending, especially if there's a POW. But
yeah, if someone gets a POW, that could actually screw up everything. Oh my god, he actually got a POW.
Ops to hold it, though. I think that's a good sign that AV might have gone a good race. He didn't want to target POW some of the AV top spots. I think Derek still got first, but it's a very, very even race, I believe, from what I saw.
Yeah, unfortunate that Kevin Blue pushed Olafray into the wall. Not sure if either player can really do much to avoid that there, but that just sucks. I mean, it's such a hard with a pack that close. If you don't have any item, it's so hard to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Well,
and also about that POW, that's a hard. You have very little time to be able to react to that and try and process where your team is exactly and actually target POW them. So
yeah, and
probably
usually
just
like
played it safe.
if the pack is that close, the only time you ever want to POW there is if the spots are like really structured. Like this, a certain team is 2, 3, 4, a certain team is top 2. You know, if it's mixed, just don't use it at all. You know,
Yeah, right.
unless
play.
one
CB
unless one of your teammate
145.
calls it. 145 for CB. Yeah, they could go with the TF here.
Not exactly sure why they didn't break away more. I'm not sure if they weren't back spamming that much or something, but usually top 3 should be breaking away way more than that on BC64. Not sure if they weren't double back spamming, maybe not using their back spam as effectively as they could have been. But
I saw like a couple of nanas. Like there were a couple times where CB back nanas wide, but it was a case of either they maybe did double back a couple times, it didn't connect, or they just didn't double back really. Double backs usually connect most of the time, so I'm surprised that they didn't break away more. And in the end, canceling the blue there, obviously hindsight's 2020, but maybe they could have held it for a little longer because Derek did have Derek got first anyway, but since the pack was so close, I think maybe CB could have maybe called themselves into boxes somewhere else. But
yeah, I don't think that's a horrible shock. In hindsight, maybe you could have done something else, but that's not that bad. Do a kind of unpredictable shock that AV isn't going to be able to really see coming, and dodge your guy and cancel blue. Not bad.
Right. And I did mention before that in the previous war that AV had against Metro Wipeout, Olafray was either in top 2 spots or bottom spots, and he opts to bag this time around with AV occupying a lot of the top spots there.
Interesting. Smart play. He's basically just guaranteeing his team gets an 8th place box, not letting anyone even think about contesting him for it, which honestly I like, especially on KC.
And we saw AV do that in several races against MW where they were getting all the 8th place boxes, preventing MW from getting a lot of the dodges. But Olafray burning his star pretty early on. I think he could have held that a little longer.
Looks like we have a DC, unless there's some weird position glitch thing going on.
I'm not sure. There's a DC. I'm pretty sure at this point.
Not sure who DC, but it looks like AV is occupying most of the top spots at the moment. You see CB and 654.
AV top 2 from right. AV top 2 right now. Yeah, and really from what I saw on Trix's point of view, he wanted to take the Shroomba, but the POW happened. I would assume that was an AV POW, so Trix wasn't able to break the top 2 plane there, and AV are still running away with top 2, I believe. You're
pretty much just going to see Olafray chaining boxes until he gets... Not exactly sure what he's chaining for, but he has no really reason to hold anything right now. Super close pack, though, so he's actually in a really good spot going into this. And honestly, 9-player rooms affect the boxes way differently. 3rd place can get triple shrooms, which on KC is probably going to end up being huge.
Trix has triple shrooms, actually. He shroomed up to first and has a shroom in first right now.
Yeah, I'd say this pack is not horrible for CB, even though AV has a lot of the top spots.
Yeah, it's relatively mixed now that Trix got up to the front. But anything can happen here, and actually Trix got past the TC there from Vincent, so it's gonna be a 1-4 for AV still though. Yeah,
Olafray opting to hold his star. Yashter tried to schlag him. Olafray did good avoiding, and now Yashter's just gonna shroom away from him. No one has shock at the moment, so he's making a risk in holding this star. We'll see if it pays off, but either way, if he does dodge, he's probably getting first in this race with this pack.
The thing is, I still think it's better to hold this, because if you chain into a box, you're not going to gain too much speed, besides maybe taking the grass cuts. So I guess it's smart to hold this. I don't think there's a shock still in play right now.
Yeah, neither team has it. AV thought that, or CB thought that AV had it.
And yeah, and
AV's going to get bottom 2. I think that might have been a pretty good race for CB. I think Sean, or whoever was up there, still stayed up there.
Yeah, and I think some of the CB players ended up catching up a little bit with I think Zero took Golden Strat, or either Shrooms or Golden Strat, but another CB player got up there too. I think it was Derek. So even race.
Yeah, 9-player room really favors those mid spots. You can get a lot of cheeky Goldens, triple Shrooms items you wouldn't be able to pull, or at least it'd be a lot harder to pull normally in 10-player rooms in higher spots. And so yeah. Really good race from CB, and Kevin actually DC'd. Oh god, yeah, he's has horrible net from what I remember from Lounge. hopefully that doesn't serve to be a huge issue for the rest of this match because it's never fun to see DCs.
Exactly.
Either way, we're done pretty much half of this war, almost half, and it's dead even.
Oh yeah,
CB
absolutely.
with a slight lead, but kind of shaky play coming out from both teams, a little bit of mistakes, but overall, this is a pretty intense match so far, and really close packs at the end. All these races are kind of either slaughters or coming down to the wire.
Yeah, it could just be nerves. They're both in the semifinals, best out of 3. It's casted, 200 something viewers right now, but yeah, usually if you're in the bigs, Charge Brigade and Avail have been around for a while. Usually if you're in the big leagues, you can shake the rust off or can shake the nerves off pretty quickly, but whichever team can shake off the nerves a little bit better is gonna succeed here. Let's see which team does that.
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty interesting that these two teams ended up being in the spring split. I don't think many people would have predicted that these two teams would be in the semifinals right now. Not saying anything bad against either of those teams, but this is just an interesting match because I didn't actually expect to see this big of an upset almost.
Cinderella story's coming out, yeah. But Avail, maybe not as much because Avail are a strong team. But
Avail are a strong team, but I know a lot of people had MW favored to win the tournament or at least be one of the make it very far, further than top 8. And I know a lot of people, CB PT has been one of the most fun rivalries to watch in the Mario Kart community, and I know a lot of people think PT was going to destroy that match, and CB ended up taking it in pretty convincing fashion, which was very entertaining and fun to watch. Unfortunate for PT, but both these teams are in an interesting spot right now, to say the least.
Yeah, especially since Charge Brigade actually were not throwing out their best lineup. I know that Bubbles subbed in for Yoster. He did a decent job though for being subbed in, but I know Bubbles was sometimes in the back. He was struggling to get up there in some races. So Phantasmagoria weren't able to capitalize on that, especially since Neo, I think, did a very good job in the bagging department. He outshocked T there, so it helped Charge Brigade get the win there.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how the rest of this war goes.
Me too.
Think it's worth mentioning also that best of 3, that's a lot of Mario Kart, and you can honestly at the end kind of get burnt out. I've only played a couple, but like it's a lot to play. It makes every race feel kind of meaningless, but I think each of these teams are both veteran teams. They'll probably be fine in the long run. It's just worth mentioning that if you see the play get kind of shakier at the end, this is a lot of Mario Kart to play.
Absolutely, yeah. Anything can happen in this game. I mean, we've seen time and time again in previous casts, and even just being in the community as a whole, we've experienced a lot of like table turning stuff. You could be top 4, top 3, and then the other bagger will pull the shock in like a track like MC3 or something. You can have all 4 quad dodge, or anything like that. Anything can happen in this game, and I'm really excited to see what happens.
Oliver is playing pretty well so far. A couple unfortunate team bumps and maybe some mistakes here and there, but usually he's just the same as he always is. The consistent, just solid driver, team first. It's interesting to see.
And Olifrey is a bit of a slow starter too. I mentioned that Charge Brigade are a slow starting team. As for individual players, Olifrey is a bit of a slow starter, and he picks it up later on. So expect Olifrey to pop off in the last stage of the war here.
Hopefully. I mean, that guy, like I said before, nothing phases him.
Absolutely.
Finally, we're getting the war back up and running. Hopefully, no more DCs because those are just unfortunate.
And it's gonna be, alternating spots still. At first, my mind blanked here. I'm like, who's occupying what spot? It's alternating spots. It's interesting to see which track either team comes out with. MT's already chalked off for CB. They're already occupying 3rd. RBC's chalked off. That's like the most neutral track you can possibly pick. And DK Mountain, there it is. They pulled the trigger finally on that.
What would you see on Trix's stream?
Oh yeah, Trix's stream. Let me go back to Olifrey. But yeah, they finally pulled the trigger there on DK Mountain. Trix, good at that track, and obviously Zero. That's his ultimate track there. But we'll see what it comes out with here.
Two very different tracks. CB with the hard running track, very line dependent, and EV with one of their personal favorites, Meadows.
Against MW, we saw them getting a good race against MW in the last track, and only one of them picked Meadows. But I guess they're confident now. They're like, all right, we won Meadows. We got AV Mole on our side, so let's just keep going.
Keep up a little bit. They do play this track. They do pick this track a lot in Scrim Wars. It's probably one of their personal favorites. So, AV or pretty standard stuff from Olafray. Gets rid of the back spam drafts. Sean shrooms up. Nice top 2 for them. This track can kind of be a deceptive running track a little bit. Obviously, if someone dodges and chains a golden, they're probably going to win, but a lot of people will end up bagging too much, and the pack can really spread out, and then it's kind of hard to catch those top spots.
Absolutely, and you absolutely can backspam here. There are some corners in which you can't really see the backspam until last minute. You can backspam and gain a break here, despite all the shortcuts that you can take in this track.
Yeah, cheeky Nana there earlier coming in. Fib tight, obviously, and Sean, they're pretty much going to look to run until cut lap 3, probably. Nice Nana. Yashter plays it safe going wide. And
2-3-4 for CB. And
3-4-5.
Yeah. I confuse it with Trix's POV. Shock coming in. That definitely CB Shock. Yashter coming up. And as well, Zero as well. Kevin predicting it, though.
Kevin predicting it and pulling the Bill in 8th. And that Bill carried him pretty far, which is going to be very good for him. But not looking super good for Olafray at this moment. He gets a bomb. Let's see what he can do with this. Maybe he can snipe one of them.
Oh, it was a little early. I think he could have maybe thrown that on the down momentum part of the ramp there. That would have been
a really tough snipe. I would have been very impressed if he would have got that right on Derek. But either way, nice try from him. It's pretty tough situation to leave yourself in, getting into sixth place boxes at that exact moment in the track. Not much you can ask for there, except a lucky golden.
Yeah. And it is a little bit more difficult to get a bomb snipe off there when you're currently making a turn. If you go on a ramp and you're riding that downwards momentum, you can control how far the bomb goes. And I think that
his own teammates were far enough to a point where he could have gone for that snipe without hitting his own team.
But
so no one was able to catch Sean. Sean was able to hold his lead, which is good for him, even despite the CB shock, which can be brutal on Meadows. Kevin, good job predicting. Did get the lucky Bill in 8th, but at least he was able to predict the shock. CB using a pretty obvious first set shock. Maybe not the best thing they could have done, but who knows?
Yeah.
You generally don't want to use predictable shocks, especially when you know, or you can maybe guess that they're holding an item. Kevin could have gotten the Bill in 8th right there, but usually it's fairly obvious when someone is holding a dodge. And generally, you want to lean toward more unpredictable shock, but we don't know what happened. Someone might have been forced to use it.
Right. And I don't think they were forced to use it, but they dodged in mid spots from what I believe. Yashter dodged in like 3rd or 4th. Same with Zero, 4th or 5th in a star. So I think they might have used the shock there because maybe MW had a dodge. Or sorry, MW. Maybe AV had a dodge or two, but they were a little bit far away from the set. So maybe they just... I don't know. They just didn't use their dodges because they were a little further away from the set there. They saw that AV weren't occupying any dodges. So
go prove.
Yeah,
he's
doing a good job.
He's been getting shocks. Good for him. God knows the bagging battle couldn't be luck based sometimes, but at least he's showing up and getting shocks for CB.
From what I've seen, I think he's doing a little bit better than Joris. It's not a complete burnout. It's not a complete domination from Prove, but he's been doing a good job so far.
We got CB's track pick coming in, DK Jungle Parkway, and this is a great pull for Olafray, especially right in the beginning of the race. He can tell his bagger to just ram into boxes. He'll be able to have an advantage getting golden backwards, and this is just such a good item to hold up here, and you're gonna look to see him hold this as long as he can.
Absolutely, and I believe AV are occupying a little bit of a rough situation there. I think Kevin was trying to intentionally pass the TC to Olafray. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Either way, weird play. Unfortunate. Moving on. Blue coming out from CB already. 40 seconds in.
Did he spam a mega though? I don't see any. Never mind. There he is.
No idea what happened.
Yeah, Kevin got TC'd
sucks to hit that back green there because now, I mean, if you can hold that Bill up to like 6th or 5th, that's even more golden. But he's still not super far away from the pack. This isn't bad. And honestly, now he can. Never mind. AV's a lot of bottom spots. I didn't really realize that, but
yeah, it was fairly mixed in the beginning. But AV taking that early shock from AV. CB were broken away, so that's actually not a bad idea. And Joris is winning out right now, so they could potentially get a second shock.
Yeah, and Olafray's going to keep the Bill, which CB probably have no idea of, so Joris is in a really good spot to get another one as well. Shot came in at 112, so another one will be available at like 142, so there absolutely will be time for a second shock.
I believe Prove might have pulled a golden right away, so and Joris maybe pulled maybe a star or something, so Prove is now winning out in the bagging battle here.
Again, with the lap 2 shocks, it's risky, but if you're far back, that's absolutely the right call.
Yeah,
and
it looks to me
Oh.
like AV are top 2 actually. Trix is in 3rd right now, and he's holding a bomb, but he chucks it forward, but they're too far away, and AV are going to run away with this, especially with this bill coming out from Olifray.
I think Olfair was playing it safe, wasn't sure if CB had it. Smart bill usage there. Would have been really bad to lose that to a cannon shock, plus CB I think was 3, 4, 5, 6 at the time. Anyway, AV should be able to hold on to this top 2 if nothing, no blues, no shocks. See what he can do with these greens. He can probably hold back CB, maybe get his bottom spot more. Smooth avoiding on the bomb and the back green for 0. That took reflexes. Well played by him.
Ice cold coming out there from Olifray.
Yeah. Good reaction time there. Nice and professional. Just back 0 in the line that he had to take because of the bomb. Well played. And played it safe with the shroom at the end. Well played from him. Just held the bill the whole race.
That's what you like to see too from a top player, especially a streamer too. Someone who just has those ice cold nerves, or not ice cold nerves, but those ice in their veins, just not being fazed by anything. And we mentioned that Olifray is gonna be like that throughout the whole war. Only got 6 though. I was gonna say maybe he could have schlagged a little bit with the greens and maybe got like a 7th place box after that. Just to maybe cheese shrooms.
I don't know. They're probably just gonna shroom right past you there, especially if you're slagging like 6, 7, 8. Probably played it right. It would have been an ambitious move to schlag, in my opinion, but he definitely could have done it. That would have been viable.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, strong race coming in from AV, and this is still so close.
Absolutely.
AV takes the lead back though.
It is going to be a 4-point lead for AV here. The biggest deficit that we've seen so far, I believe, was plus 21 for CB in the first race. And that's a common trend we've noticed in the past few matches in MKPS. That's what you like to see. You like to see close matches. You like to see dogfights. And the viewers are getting a lot of run for their money right now.
Certainly is going to be a dogfight. The score has been within single digits points for the last like 4 races. So.
Mm-hmm. We are going to see a DDR coming out from AV. They are occupying those sandwich spots, I like to call it. Top 2 and 6-8. So top 2 can just run. 6-8 can drop. And 3rd and 4th. I mean, starting in 4th in DDRs, or 3rd in DDR is a bit rough.
Starting in 3rd is a bit rough. You can make it work, but it's rough. Definitely a big track pick coming out from AV, and they have really, really fast DDR players on their team. And CB, not really a team of TTers, but let's see what they can do. I think they really have to break into this top 2 early before they.
It is very important for Trix to make sand hop here. Very important. Starting in 4th, and it looks to me like he does actually.
Yeah, Trix he's not going to be failing cuts like that. Either way.
Yeah. Vincent does make it 2 though, so Vincent's still occupying 1st.
Yeah, I really want to see if Vincent can stay alive here and what Trix does with these greens, because he can really screw up AV's 1-3 right now, and I just want to see what he does. Or he can also use him to stay alive. Anything would be viable. But Vincent's also got to hold on for dear life because he is in such a valuable spot right now.
Absolutely. And we did see Trix. Okay, that was a good Nana back there. It's usually unpredictable. You usually don't expect a Nana there, but Trix looks to me like he hit the tight backspam from Vincent, though.
Yeah, well played by Vincent, backspamming him, giving his team top 2. And a Sherman 2nd for Olafray. Probably will just use that to get up there, but he might let Vincent overtake him, or he might overtake Vincent just so he can dodge a blue.
Huge
and Kevin comes out of Ultra.
Yeah, huge bagging battle lead for Joris, too. I believe Prove might have pulled Bill, so this is going to be looking very good for AV. Top 3 and a potential shock here.
Top 3 and 3 very fast players in top 3. They're going to be probably breaking away unless someone on CB can take Golden Ultra or something like that, or faster 3 Shroom Ultra.
Yeah, and maybe Trix hopefully has a bomb here because he needs to bomb the top. So he does actually take Mega Ultra here. Not a bad idea to break the top spots there. Let's see. Oh, he does Mega
Definitely
Ultra
smart
there.
play, and he gets the timing right and destroys Olafray. Unfortunate timing there. Not much you can say about that, but he's able to break up the top 3 really well, and he gets past the TC.
CB breaking the top spots very well here.
Yeah, Olafray gets TC'd, and Derek ends up redding Vincent, so I mean, that's how quickly a race can go badly, but they were looking so
Absolutely.
good going into lap 3.
There it is. Yeah, Joris did pull the shock after being intense the whole race. Sean is going to come up, but I don't think he's going to break the plane too much, actually. He's the only one that dodged, I believe.
Yeah, and that won't be a super meaningful shock. I think CB's still going to end up taking home a really good race.
Yeah, Sean only got 5th out of that.
Well played from them. I mean, Mega Ultra, it's a good cut. Not super common. I don't know a lot of people who take it when they have their Mega. At least I don't. I think I might be in the minority there. But
yeah, because you don't get too much airtime from the Mega because you don't gain that much speed from it besides going on the off road. So the fact that Trix even went for it was ballsy, but making it with that with that little speed advantage, not too big of a speed advantage. Good work from Trix, and he was able to Mega Olifray there.
Was definitely the right play in that scenario to try and do something to break up that top 3 as opposed to just holding your Mega, hoping for shock, and they didn't even end up getting it. So
yeah,
good play by him. Maybe a little bit lucky on the Mega for Olifray and the TC, but
yeah. Had he not done that, it would have been, I believe, like a top 2 or a 1-3 for AV. So you never know. Who got second there actually from AV? Did you see?
I did not see.
I didn't see it, but whoever was in second there most likely would have just opted to start backing CB. So it was a really, really important play there from Trix. Let's see what they're gonna pick here. Actually, I'm interested to see what they're gonna go with.
Yeah, and good items from them. I think they got Mega in 4th, Triple Shrooms in 5th. I think they used them well, but still.
Peach Gardens,
still so close. Oh my god!
Wow,
3 races left. So each team, this is like. You really just want a huge race here. That would make you feel so much better about this moment at this current point in time, at this point in the war.
Absolutely. And I can compare this to basketball. Like if it's like a game 5, game 6, game 7 in the playoffs, and it's really tight, like lead changes left and right. This is the kind of feel that I'm getting right now, and it's exciting to watch for sure.
And first set on Peach Gardens always. Which is super important because this is one of those tracks where the shortcut is hugely important to how well you do on the actual race.
AV start off aggressively though. 3 of them run. Let's see if that ends up working out. I don't think many of CB pulled the shrooms besides, well, Trix is still in second, but it's gonna be a 1-3-4 for AV.
Yeah, and here Triple Shrooms first set, that is just bulletproof. I'm not sure if anyone pulled it. Sean might have. Wasn't really paying attention to the mini map.
Ooh, right. Yeah, he pulled that out too late.
Pull that a little bit too late. That wide Nana can really kill you, especially if you're going wide anticipating back spam. But just a little bit late on the green pull out.
Blessing in disguise though, holding the blue here, and I don't think Sean has another shroom here, but it'll allow for him to just throw the blue in case CB do take cut and get up there. So we'll see what happens up here. Pal comes in, I believe, to prevent. I don't know whose Pal that was actually.
I don't know who that was, but it probably was to prevent someone from taking cut.
Yeah,
Olifray is pretty much going to be out of the race for the rest of this one, or at least as long as he's going to hold blue. You really cannot do much on Peach Gardens if you're not getting boxes, especially in a bottom spot. But
yeah,
Sean does look to have a pretty good lead, so it will end up benefiting AV.
For sure. We do see Trix in second here, but nobody's around him. Sean's too far away. Third is a little far behind him, so he's kind of sitting pretty right now. But obviously, Olifray holding the blue here. There's not much Trix can do. We are going to see
a decent break in last, meaning CB's probably going to end up getting shock. Could happen in 9th, but he's in 10th by a little bit.
I believe Yoster got killed somehow. I think he might have gotten back spammed, or I'm not exactly sure what happened there. But Kevin taking the cut here, so this is looking even more solid for AV, and Prove not pulling the shock early on. So even if there is a last second shock, yeah, Bill in 8th, but no shock coming in, unfortunately. Oh, there it is, late shock though.
He may have got it right there, and dodged Yoster at the end of his bill. Might have dropped him into a shrub or something. Didn't really see him get up there.
And that's the play. That's the play right there.
Did Derek just back a bomb and Olifray threw it forward?
I believe so, but Yoster got killed right away from a backspam from Kevin there. So, yeah, it's going to be a good race for AV here.
And I think he's going to connect with this red.
Oh.
Really good race for AV. I love the risk from Olifray there, just trying to get the little extra points to squeeze out the wheelie. Maybe could have played it safe, but I like the effort.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, at first I thought CB were going to pull the shrooms in the beginning because AV started off aggressively there. But I think one of them pulled a shroom in like 3rd or 4th. And I think it was Sean pulling that. And yeah, CB weren't able to pull the shrooms in the beginning, actually. I think they might have pulled a blooper in the pack. They might have pulled triple reds, triple greens, and that's the name of this track. Triple shrooms. I mean, if you pull that, you're gone, especially if you cheese it in 4th or 5th. So
I think it's interesting to look at the way each team is using shock very differently. CB's shocks seem to be very textbook, very like classic, almost like it almost seems like they're dodging people who have to use their dodges, or like they're dodging people at the obvious sets. Meanwhile, AV's using a little bit more unorthodox shocks. They're using lap 2 shocks a lot of the time and making sure they can get another one. They're dodging several people. And I think it's working out for AV so far. I think their shocks have been significantly more impactful than CB's have.
Right. But you could also say that CB's shock wasn't really that impactful in that scenario because they didn't pull it until lap 3. I think had they pulled it earlier on, they probably would have. I don't know if they had any dodges, but they probably would have dodged Yoster much earlier, possibly even like late lap 2, maybe early lap 3, depending on if
so
AV...
there is so much stuff you can do with that shock, and the fact that Yasher just get killed right after, that's a really bad drop off for the build a lot of the time. It usually leaves you really disoriented. I don't know, it just seems like AV's shocks are much more like calm, much more like well planned, I guess you could call it. Like dodging 3 people in the cannon on DK Jungle Parkway, just the BC3 shocks. It just seems like they're getting a lot more out of their shocks than CB is.
Yeah,
CB, like on Moo Meadows and Peach Gardens, like if you're getting shock, you should be winning those races every single time.
Right, and CB, CB with the Moo Meadows shock, dodging first set there and dodging 2 people, but yeah, they could have maybe opted to go for a little bit of an earlier shock just to catch up a little bit more, because I know Zero and Yoster chained into mid spots, and I don't think they pulled too favorable of items. So Vincent or Sean, I don't remember who got first there, but whoever that was from AV got first. So DKM coming out though. Finally DKM coming out for CB here. They did pull the trigger yet again from the start.
They've been against the whole time, and I know this is one of their ace in the whole track. So let's see what
Zero starting off in a bottom-most spot though. Obviously, you can choose which spots you occupy if it's alternating spots. Zero opting to occupy 7th, I believe, but I expect him to come up.
Trick's either getting wheelie bumped or getting hit into the wall. Either way, the first part of this track is incredibly important because it's really hard to catch people on this track, and you can break away really easily due to lines and backspam. So that getting hit there or just not being able to hold your first is actually huge.
Good backspam from Olifrey. Sean schlagging as well. Almost connects on Olifrey accidentally.
Yeah, Olifrey gets random green, but he is able to connect the backspam, which kind of cancels it out. And they're going to be left with 1-3-4 after all that with a really, really close pack.
Yeah, I like that from Sean to nullify the running power of CB because this is one of their signature track picks. We do see Zero in 2nd though, so if there's a blue coming on to AV, expect Zero to run this track very effectively.
Yoster had to use his Mega, wasn't able to hold it anymore for dodges due to the POW or to schlag or do anything with it, so it's kind of unfortunate for their side. But right now, completely like split pack. I think what is it, 2-3-4 for CB?
I like that bomb throw. I love it. Oof, but Yasha used the Mega there to avoid it.
Yeah, I think he forced the Mega out of Yasha. That looked really good from our perspective. I don't know how good it was on Yasha's screen. Great avoiding there from Olifrey. And honestly, I don't like that Mega usage. Or at least if you use that Mega, you gotta hit him.
Yeah. Right. I mean, the Mega usage was to avoid the bomb, but you have to hit him in the scenario if you're slagging.
You're right, I forgot. But either way, I would rather have him just drive away maybe. But Olifrey was able to avoid that without losing much time at all. Doesn't look like either bagger has shock, and God,
looks
the
to
pack is
me
still so close.
Like it's a 1-3 for AV right now, I believe.
Yeah, Vincent's pretty much got first secured, and cheeky back greens from Zero there after the cannon, really hard to avoid. But and all this can change at the bridge. So much shit can go wrong there.
I do think this will favor AV if it's shockless, though, because Vincent can backspam Zero in first, and 3rd can backspam the 4-5 from CB. I don't think any of CB fall behind, though. I still think they're going to keep their spots. Bill comes in.
Tricks with the Bill, and that's going to, I think, probably give them the race and win in the end, unless AV got top 2.
Best case for AV top 2, but I still think it might have been a 1-3. I don't know where Zero placed, though.
So this is really going to come down to the wire. I don't think that was a huge race for either side. Maybe CB's going to have a slight lead going into it.
And this is what you want to see, guys. Close matches in MKPS in the semifinals as well of all matches. So this is fun stuff here. Fun stuff.
That was an interesting race. DKM's all about just like avoiding and losing as
Kevin
little
got
time as
second.
possible. Kevin did get second. That's really clutch coming from him. So it's going to be pretty much tied.
There might have been a backspam from Vincent there onto 0. So it's going to be a plus, let's see, +3. Yeah, +3 race for AV there. So bringing it down to a 1-point lead here for CB.
As close as you can be. And AV top 2, they do have the advantage in terms of spots. I wonder if they're going to go Rainbow Road. It'd be pretty ballsy, but they might go for it, as seeing as there is a signature track. But any running track, the track pick here is going to be very important. I know it's like an obvious statement, but like, yeah, it's all the 11 races come down to this moment pretty much, because whoever wins this race wins.
And I want to see what AV pick here, but CB as well. I'm actually interested to see what they pick, because they're occupying 3, 4, 5, 6 here. Rainbow Road, Luigi Circuit.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Just put it down to chance. I actually love Luigi Circuit. It's one of my guilty pleasure tacks. We got 2 polar opposite tracks, and AV is going to get the pick.
Oh, this is bad, though. This is bad for CB.
You can't dwell on it if you're CB. You got to just try your best. Don't fall off. Try and get up there as best you can. Avoid back spam and hope for the best, pretty much. But you really got to survive this beginning part, because it is just soul crushing to get knocked off here, especially in such an important race.
Absolutely, yeah. And I believe, from what I saw, let's see, Kevin actually got knocked off. So it's going to be 2, 3, 4 for CB, actually. So right away, breaking the top spots. Good work from CB. I think they drafted up. They might have bumped Kevin there.
It's still an incredibly close pack, so anything can happen at this point in time. Not going to see many breakaways happening yet. Everyone still has to kind of try and stay alive.
He's going to just red Tricks after this part right here, probably.
Don't think Tricks will be able to avoid it, yeah.
Yep.
Played. Is AV still first? Is Vincent first?
I believe so, yeah. I didn't see him drop the line. Oh, close fib.
That is such a good fib, and really good avoidance from Olafur there. That would have been really bad to hit that, especially since they're in such a good spot right now.
Spots are really mixed, though. It's a 1, 4, 5. No, actually, it's a top 2, 4 for AV right now. And that POW? No, it didn't kill Derek there. I thought it might have.
If you looked at the minimap, 0 actually is pretty far in 8th, but he ended up getting Bill, but they decided not to risk any boxes. And
I think
what happened to Vincent? Did Vincent fall off?
No, he's still up there. And I believe in that scenario, Olafur got the trick, and whoever that was in front of him in CB didn't get the low trick, so he ended up slow-owning Olafur there. So a little bit fortunate for CB
I was caught looking at the minimap.
Yeah, Vincent is in 4th, and I think it's a 1, 3, 4 for AV still, if that is still them in 1st. I don't know for sure.
This is still an uncharacteristically close pack for Rainbow Road. Usually it's very separate. Bunch of people have fallen off right now, but this is still going to come down to the wire. Vincent is going to get hit with a back green, so... Oh my god, yes. I think
it's Sean in 1st and Kevin in 2nd still, so it's looking very good for AV.
Very doable. Now, at this point, you might want to ask a question. Do you go for shock? You need a race win no matter what.
You have to go forward here. You have to risk it, because AV are going to break away. With even if they're blue, they're still going to be occupying 1, 3. Yeah, 1, 3.
They need a blue at this point, or shock. I think you might see Proof just play it safe, go for it after the cannon, or just maybe let items...
He went for it after cannon.
Doesn't look like he did it. I mean,
no,
maybe got to go for it earlier there.
Yeah, I think he had to there. He had to go for it earlier.
Bar a very odd circumstance, and AV is going to walk home with the win on this one.
Unless something drastic happens here. The pack is really tight. Anything can happen here. There might be... No, it's still top 2 for AV, I believe.
I think it was top 2 for AV, yeah. Packers are going to scramble to get 9th because it could matter, but I think AV ended up taking this one home. Well played from Sean and Vincent. I got to say, it is... Like, they're D1 players and they're great, but it is tough to drive 3 laps of Rainbow Road knowing that if you make one mistake, you just lost your team the match.
Yeah, it's a very good run from AV. In the beginning, I thought CB might have turned around because one of them drafted up and bumped, I think it was Kevin, who was starting off in 2nd there. But, yeah, AV coming back up there. I don't really know specifics. Like, I don't know if there was anything specifically that got them up.
That's a really well played race from AV, and CB actually played that incredibly well. They stayed in it that whole time. they absolutely had a chance to win it. Usually you end up getting back spammed or the pack just ends up becoming separated and top 2 is just gone. But up until lap 3, that was a really, really close pack, which is what you want. I think maybe Prove should have went for Shock earlier, because with AV top 2, they're probably not going to lose it unless you get amazing item luck or they fail. And if Prove gets it, then you end up having a chance to win the race. But if Joris gets it there, which he probably will because he's going to be getting a box in 10, then it's not the worst thing in the world. They still win. They would have won anyway. It's just giving yourself a chance to win the race.
Exactly. And you never know, like the backer in 10th might not even pull the Shock too, so you could just go back and have another crack at the Shock, you know? But yeah, apparently Kevin burned out in 2nd, but he ended up catching back up somehow without a dodge. So I believe AV were able to get a lot of snipes and back spams off in the mid pack there. So well played from AV. They take it 1-0, and we're gonna go. Do you want to go on break pretty soon, actually, or do you want to go on break right now?
Sure. I didn't know we did breaks, but
yeah, we do. If in a best of 3 setting, we can do breaks if we please.
So yeah, Avail taking home game 1. Stay tuned for game 2, guys. It should be uploaded within the next 2 days or so stay tuned for that one. Be sure to get some more popcorn ready that day. It'll be a good one.